Hello, beautiful vloggers. It's your girl Shay. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can get the latest uploads and videos coming your way. So today we're going to review and recap Power Season 4, Episode 2. Title of the episode is Things Are Going to Get Worse. Now, keep in mind that the timestamps are in the description box. So if you want to skip ahead, be my guest. It's already set in stone for you. So all you got to do is scroll down, look in the description box, and you'll have all the times ready for you, okay? So let's get started, because we begin with, of course, Ghost is still in jail, and it's picking up where last episode left off, where Ghost got the beatdown of all beatdowns from Charlie Murphy's character, who plays a guard, and another guard. So they beat him because they believe he's a cop killer, because, of course, obviously they think he killed this FBI agent, which he is in jail for doing, but he actually didn't do it. It was somebody else. We all know that, though. And, in the scene, we see him actually urinating blood because he got a beat down so bad that he's actually going to the bathroom and blood is coming out, which I thought was kind of scary. I'm like, damn, he might need to see a doctor. But, of course, they're not going to take him to a doctor because they're the one who gave him the damn beat down, okay? So, yeah, that happens. And then Tasha and the kids are at home. And, she's trying to talk to them and comfort them about everything that's going on. They ask him when their dad is coming home. She really doesn't have an answer for them, but she wants them to keep a brave face and, really not say too much about what's going on with their family. And, Tariq is feeling like Tariq is at that stage where he really is rebelling. And he's rebelling in all the wrong ways because he's turning to Kanan and doesn't realize that Kanan is his father's arch enemy. But so anyway, he's feeling like, well, if my dad isn't coming home yet, does that mean he's guilty? And Tasha's like, no, that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty. But the reason why Tariq thinks that is because Kanan already told him last episode, like, oh, yeah, your father's guilty. Whatever they said he did, he did that. So then we move on to Tommy's house, and Keyshia is scared because of the whole raid that happened at Tasha's house, and she wants Tommy and Tasha to take their name off her hair salon because she doesn't want to get caught up in any of this drama or the negativity, or have to risk her business or her freedom based on the illegal activities that they have going on. So Tommy is letting her know everything is fine, we got everything under control, but we cannot take you away from this whole situation. We can't remove our names because basically her business is how they wash their money. And she was also telling Tommy, like, oh, you'd understand if you had a kid. And Tommy really didn't respond to that statement. At first, he like walked up behind her and wrapped his hands around her neck. And I'm like, oh, is he about to choke her? Because he mad because she brought up that he doesn't have kids. Because if you remember last season, he actually killed the girl, Holly, who was his girlfriend. And the girl turned out she was pregnant. And Tasha knew she was pregnant. But Tommy didn't know when he killed her that she was pregnant. So he still, I believe, has some guilt. For a long time, I thought that Tommy was a sociopath, but it turns out he may not really be one, because if he feels guilt, which it seems like he does, for killing Holly, then that means that he knows that he did something wrong, and he feels some type of way about the fact that he could have become a father, but he's not going to be a dad in this circumstance because he killed the woman who was pregnant with the baby, so therefore he killed the baby too. So, yeah, but anyway, I thought he was going to strangle Keyshia, but he didn't. So, anyway, moving on. The Proctor. No, the lawyer, Ghost lawyer, whose name is Proctor, he goes to visit Ghost, just to check on him, see what's going on. Proctor can tell by the way, because Ghost comes in the room and he's like limping. And I think that Proctor could tell that he got a beat down. And he was kind of like, how did you respond to that? Tell me you didn't fight back or anything. And Ghost was like, no, I didn't do anything. I just took it. I was already handcuffed and chained and everything. So, he was like, okay, good, because everybody has to think that you're just James St. Patrick. Nobody can know that you're Ghost, because remember, people still think that Tommy is Ghost. So, you have to play your cards right and be chill. And if people step to you, you just got to let it ride, because they can't know that you are Ghost. So, yeah, that happens. And then they're having a conversation about, all of the evidence that's coming against Ghost. And Ghost is like, hold on, I didn't do it. And he believes that Angela is framing him for this whole situation. He believes that Angela has been framing him since the beginning because he thinks she's framing him because she's mad that he broke up with her, when the truth is she's not framing him. She is mad that he broke up with her, but she's not framing him. It's actually Sandoval, who is the actual murderer, who is framing him. I just want to know, at what part of the season are we going to see that Sandoval did it? Because I do not want to watch a whole season of the lead character in prison. Like, can we get him out of jail and put Sandoval in there? But I mean, I guess they got to string it out a little bit to make the season interesting. I seen the previews for the next episode. It look like he's still in jail. Like, can we hurry up and figure out that Sandoval did it? Please tell me they're not going to stretch him being in prison out the entire season, and then we have to find it out later. Like, oh my God, I do not want to see Ghost in jail the entire season. I mean, he did annoy me by being with Angela, but come on, this is not the entire season. Please just do me that one favor. So anyway, Ghost tells Proctor he wants him to tell about the relationship that's going on between him and Angela. Like, he's like, you should tell, I guess when they go to trial, he wants Proctor to tell the jury and everybody that he had a relationship with one of the prosecutors or one of the agents, I guess. But then, Proctor was saying, like, that's not a good idea, because when they put you on the stand, they're going to hammer you and they're going to make you look like you were a jealous lover. And then Proctor starts grilling him, and he's like, have you ever done this? You ever done that? And then Ghost blurts out, I've never killed anybody in law enforcement before. And he was like, well, why the distinction? Don't you mean to say that you've never killed anyone before? And then, Ghost like takes a step back and realize that he kind of painted himself in the corner with that answer. And by doing that, if it came out that, Ghost said something like that, and then they asked him, have you ever killed anyone? If he lied, then that's automatic perjury, and all kinds of other stuff can happen behind that. So Proctor is kind of really trying to prepare him for what a real trial would look like if the jury knew that he slept with Angela. So while Ghost and his attorney Proctor are brainstorming about how they're going to handle everything at trial, the prosecutors, Angela, Sandoval, the Asian guy, Mac, I think it's his name, they're all brainstorming as well about how they're going to handle the trial and what will happen. And so they do want to take the whole route of saying that Ghost killed Knox in a jealous rage. Well, at least some of the prosecutors want to do that. But the Asian guy, Mac, he doesn't want to do that. And he was awesome. So then Angela walks in. She pretends like she's just coming in. Like, oh, am I interrupting you guys? But she actually heard the conversation, but she doesn't tell them she heard it. So then when they sit down, she's like, are they going to try to put me on a stand or whatever the case may be? And he's like questioning her as if she's on a stand. And he's like, remember, you cannot perjure yourself. And this could end up being a really sticky situation, because once you get on the stand, they're going to start asking you questions like, were you carrying out this affair while you were on taxpayer time? Basically, like, while you were at work. Obviously, you're a federal prosecutor, so you are working on the taxpayers' dime. The taxpayers pay you. So they want to know, were you carrying out your affair during a time where you were supposed to be at work? And she was like, oh, well, that happened a couple times and all of this stuff. And so basically, I think the guy Mac is coming to the conclusion that it's not the best idea to make this about their relationship, because then if they do that, then the other people, the other prosecutors like Sandoval, who is actually the guilty party, and other prosecutors, they look guilty as well, because they knew that she was she was carrying out this affair with this supposed drug dealer / murderer, who is Ghost. But Ghost really didn't commit the crime, but they think he did. So they're like, it's not a good idea to put her on the stand, nor is it a good idea to make it seem like to even talk about their relationship or that they had a relationship. We should keep all of that away from the jury and away from everybody, because the minute that you do that, then you open up the floodgates for Proctor, who is Ghost's attorney, to then subpoena the other lawyers who she worked with and make them get on the stand and tell that they all knew that she was sleeping around with this guy who they were all investigating. So that looks super shady. Well, I don't like Angela anyway, so whatever. But it would look super shady to have her up there testifying that she was sleeping with the guy that they're now prosecuting for killing her ex-boyfriend. So yeah, this could end up being really bad for her. So they're like talking her they're telling her like, no, this probably wouldn't be a good idea. But some of the other prosecutors who thought it would be a good idea, I don't think that they thought through like, oh yeah, y'all could be subpoenaed too, because y'all knew she was having an affair with this guy. So it's just a mess. It's just a total mess. Ghost should have never dealt with her in the first place. She should have never dealt with him. Both of them had their red flags about one another, but they dated each other anyway. And it was just stupid. I don't even know what else to say about it. It was stupid. I mean, it makes for a great show, but when you think about it, like what they actually did as far as their relationship, how they carried it out and all that stuff, it was just dumb. It was just dumb. So anyway, we move on, and Andre is at the nightclub. And he's teaching the waiters, basically what I gathered from it was he was teaching them how to do a drug deal, because he was basically saying like, okay, when somebody orders 2 bottles of whatever kind of alcohol, he was saying, only take them 1 bottle and then pass them this little, it was a little box that said truth on it. And they were like, well, what is this for? He was like, don't worry about that, but just make sure that when you do the receipts and all this stuff, make sure that it all looks legit. And then one of the guys was like, oh, that's for an audit. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, y'all probably doing some kind of drug deal or whatever. And then in the midst of that, Ghost calls, and you know, he just wants to check up and see how everything is going with the club and everything. And Andre was telling him that business is doing really well because, you know, Ghost, not his murder, his Ghost arrest was all over the news. So people are now frequenting the club because the owner of the club is on the news, which I thought was crazy. But then when I started thinking about it, yeah, people kind of do stuff like that. They show up at a place because they know that either the owner of the place was on the news or that place was on the news, and they just want to be able to say that they've been there or that they went there. So whatever. Andre said business was doing really well. So, you know, that was that. And then Tommy went to their little spot, which is like their warehouse where him and Ghost used to hang out, and they find out that there is some guy who is disrespecting Tommy's authority, because, you know, Tommy is now the new connect, because last season Ghost and Tommy murdered Lobos, whose name was also Jefe. So I think Jefe means boss, but anyway, Lobos, Jefe is the same person. So they murdered him last season. And, you know, the prosecutors are still trying to get Tommy on that because they think that Tommy is Ghost. And they think that Tommy is the one who had Lobos killed. But really, it was Ghost and Tommy who did it. But that's another story. So, you know, they were talking about that, about how this one guy is sort of like disrespecting Tommy's authority because he's not picking up his drug shipment when he's supposed to, or bringing the money when he's supposed to, and he's trying to talk to different connects and stuff like that. So he was talking to his one guy, I think the guy's name is Julio, saying like, you need to go handle that or whatever, because that is a problem. And then we move on because there's actually an inmate who is, you know, trying to give Ghost a hard time. And the inmate sits down next to Ghost and was talking to him, and he doesn't know that Ghost is actually Ghost. He thinks his name is James, and he's like, yeah, I hear you some big time club promoter or a club owner or something like that. And, you know, what's good. And he takes Ghost biscuit and starts eating his food and all kind of stuff. Like, he was trying to punk him. It kind of reminded me of, y'all tell me if it reminded you of that too, but it reminded me of the movie Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, when he was like, you can't have my cornbread. Like, that was what it reminded me of when he took his biscuit or whatever. But so anyway, he take his biscuit and then he started rubbing his hand all down Ghost's chest and stuff like that, like he was gonna get freaky with him or something. Like, really? At the lunch table? You could wait until later, you know, take him out to dinner and a movie? I don't know. But anyway, so Ghost like grabs his hand, and I had to rewind it a couple times. I couldn't really see exactly what he did to his hand, but it looked like he broke his finger or something. But anyway, dude was in pain and he was about to buck up, but the guy Teresi, who the prosecutors were trying to flip last episode, he told old boy like, hey, back up, leave him alone or whatever. So the guy walked away, but you could tell that Teresi is like watching Ghost, because he took his newspaper and pointed at Ghost like, I'm watching you or something. He never actually said anything, but his actions made me think like he watching him or something like that. I don't know, but we gonna see. So then Andre is back at the club. And sure enough, I was right with how he was explaining the bottles and stuff. They are passing drugs. I thought that they was going to be passing cocaine. They was actually passing pills and stuff like that. And he was talking about how he may want to take, he was talking to them, you know, like being the boss or whatever. But the way his actions were, the way he was carrying himself, it made me feel like he maybe wants to take over the club or something. Like he is getting like that sense of power. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? But he's actually doing a good job. But, you know, Andre, he sometimes look a little shifty to me. Like, he may take this opportunity to now put himself in a better position and take over the spot. I don't know if he's going to do that, but the way he was looking kind of made me think like, is he trying to take over Ghost's spot? Is he trying to make this like this is his thing? This is now his club? It was just something in his eyes. You always got to pay attention to the body language. You know, 80% of communication is nonverbal. So sometimes I'm just watching the body language. Like his body language is telling me that he's really feeling his position and he's trying to take over and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to keep an eye on Andre, okay? So Proctor is standing in front of the courthouse and he is giving an interview. And he's doing this interview with, it looked like a news station or something. And he's talking about his client, James St. Patrick, is innocent and that the system is corrupt. And he said something about Knox was guilty of conspiracy to kill Lobos/Jefe. You know, Lobos and Jefe was the same person, the Mexican drug lord. And Knox is the FBI agent who was murdered. So he's saying that Knox was guilty of conspiracy to kill Lobos. And then the newscaster or whatever was asking, do you think this is racism or something like that? And then he was Proctor was basically implying that they're racist, that they are going after him because he's a black man. And you know how black men are treated as far as the justice system and everything like that. So now he's basically trying to plead, Proctor is trying to plead Ghost's case in the court of public opinion, you know, trying to get the people on his side and make people feel like they're framing him, which he is being framed, but it's not by Angela, it's by Sandoval. So then Tasha is taking the kids to school and, you know, they were asking, you know, what was going on with their dad and stuff. And she just, you know, let them know in front of the school, like, listen, if anybody asks, you do not call your dad Ghost. Period. His name is no longer Ghost, because, you know, they still are trying to prove who exactly Ghost is. For right now, they still think Ghost is Tommy. But, you know, if they start hearing people call him Ghost, they gonna get on to the fact that it's not Tommy who is Ghost. It's James who is Ghost. So she's telling them, like, you can't say anything about who Ghost is. And then she tells her daughter Raina to get out of the car, and she tells Tariq, you know, to be careful with his drinking friends or whoever these friends he was drinking with. And then she goes on to ask him, has he ever heard of somebody named Kanan? And he was like, and before he could answer, it was a paparazzi standing outside of the car taking pictures of the two of them in the car, Tariq and his mom in the car, Tariq and Tasha in the car. So Tasha gets out the car. Excuse me. So Tasha gets out the car and she grabs the camera, because at first she tells the guy stop taking pictures, but he wouldn't stop. So she grabs the camera and she smashes the camera on the ground. And that's when Tariq hops out the car and then was like, is this how I should behave? Basically saying, like, you can't tell me how to behave and you're not doing it. But that Tariq, he is something else. I mean, oh my God, I want kids so bad, but I look at his behavior, I'll be like, oh my, are they really that bad? I mean, it's the attitude problems. Like, is it really like that? Like, my goodness, he is rebelling on a whole other level. Like, if I was like that when I was younger, my mom would be like, girl, you better get it together. I don't know what's going on with Tariq, but he better get it together, because Kanan is not the one for him to be playing with. He don't even know that he playing with Kanan. Well, anyway, so when he gets into school, these three boys approach him, and they're like, yeah, that, because remember last season he had brought a gun to school and it was actually Angela's gun, and it was a big hoopla about that. And so the boys were like, is that same gun you brought to school, is that the same gun your father used to kill the FBI agent? And he was like, maybe, with attitude. And I think that kind of shook those boys a little bit, so they walked away and they left him alone. And Raina was just like, who are you? You know, as her brother, she is watching the transformation of her brother, because he is really behaving in a way where she's probably not used to. So she was just like, who are you? Like, and I'm trying to figure out too, like, who are you, Tariq? You finna get yourself into situations I don't know if you're gonna know how to get out of, sweetheart. You walking yourself into a whole problem and you don't even know it. So Tariq calls Kanan while he's in the hallway, and you know, he's talking to him and telling him that Ghost has no bail. and saying like, if my father didn't get bail, does that mean he's guilty? And Kanan was like, yeah, he guilty. Whatever they said he did that shit. I'm just like, oh my goodness, like Kanan is poisoning this boy's mind, and the little boy don't even know it, but he's so busy trying to rebel, he has no idea what he up against. So they talking, and Kanan, basically he's, Tariq is telling him how he's sick of his parents and all this stuff. And Kanan was just like, listen, you need to be good. Let your parents trust you and know how to play the game. Because Kanan wants Tariq to be trusted, and then he'll be able to sneak out the house more. He'll be able to get away with more stuff. So Tariq don't even realize he being manipulated on a whole other level, and he just has no freaking clue. Then we go on to Teresi and his wife. And his wife has cancer. And she's talking to him. She's coming to visit him at the prison and telling him that the oncologist is saying that, she could be a candidate for this new experimental drug, but he needs to have the cash up front. So she's not going to be able to try this new medication for her illness until she has the money. And she's saying she can't visit him anymore by herself because she's too weak. And that I think she has less than a year to live. So, that's the whole situation. They're very sad, obviously. And, she felt bad that she gave him no children, and that they don't have any kids to help take care of her and all this stuff. And he was just basically like, I'm going to figure out how to get the money. Now, I don't know what he about to do or how he about to do it, but I guess I'm thinking he going to try to figure out a way to get this money out of James St. Patrick, because that's who they think he is. They don't know that he Ghost. They don't know that all his accounts been frozen and that he don't have any clean money. But I bet you somehow, some way, Teresi is going to figure out a way to either flip on Ghost and get the money from, the prosecutors, because sometimes you can get money out of them if you know some information that they want. Or he's going to figure out a way to get the money out of Ghost, whether he's going to blackmail him or threaten him or what, I don't know. But to me, that's what it seemed like. So then, the prosecution and the defendant, they go to the judge. They're asking for a gag order. The judge is not here for it. He like, y'all not getting a gag order. He knows how to talk. Proctor knows how to talk to the press. Y'all like to put out stuff for the press too, so y'all better get better at it, because I'm not giving y'all a gag order. I was like, he shut y'all down real quick. And then the FBI show up to search the club, and they want the security system and all this stuff. They telling Andre this. They show up at Truth. The FBI is now raiding Truth the same way they raided Tasha's house. And so they saying that they want all of this security system and all of this stuff. But while they're all like going around looking for stuff, Sandoval just happens to sneak into Ghost's office. How he does this with nobody noticing, I don't know. To me, that kind of seemed far-fetched, because if you got agents scouring the whole building, how is it that he could just slip into an office, shut himself in there, and nobody sees him? But okay, so he has the gun, and he plants the murder weapon in Ghost's office in a drawer underneath some stuff or whatever. But I'm just like, to me it just seems so far-fetched. Like, it's no way that you're gonna have that many FBI agents in one building, and of all the places they could go, they're not gonna go into the man's office. It seemed to me like that would be the first place that they would go. So how will he be in there by himself, able to plant this murder weapon, when the first place they're gonna go if they're searching the club is the man's office, because they are looking to have more evidence that this man is guilty, and this is his office. Of course, that's the first place they're gonna go. So to me, that was a little like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so then the family shows up to visit Ghost, and he's telling Tariq he wants him to be the man in the house and all of this stuff, and he thanks them for visiting him. Tariq ain't really here for it, but he's listening to Kanan's advice about being better. He got to be a good boy now. So he's pretending like, he's going to be a good listener. He's going to listen to his mom and all that stuff. He ain't finna do any of that, but he's pretending that he is. So then Tommy is mad at Julio because he sent his guys to go handle the situation where they were supposed to get paid. They were supposed to get some money. They were supposed to hand over the product. And one of Tommy's guys, a black guy that works with Tommy, ended up getting punched in the face. Julio didn't handle it, so Tommy is mad. So Tommy decides he gonna go handle that himself. And so he goes catch up with the guy who punched his friend and hops in the car. At first he didn't hop in the car. He pointed a gun at him while the man was in the car. You know what I'm saying? And was like, get out the car or whatever. And the guy was like, oh, Tommy, I'm sorry, whatever. Tommy ain't trying to hear it. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna count and you start running. So the guy starts running, and I'm like, oh shit, Tommy gonna shoot him in the back. That ain't even right. So then Tommy actually doesn't shoot him. He gets in the car and starts following behind the guy. So the guy is running and Tommy is following behind him in the car. So then he'll speed up and then slow down, and then speed up and then slow down, and then speed up, and then finally, boom, he hit him with the car. The guy flips over the car, hits the windshield, rolls to the back of the car. Then Tommy throw the car in reverse, rolls the car on top of him, sits the car on top of him, basically told him, like, don't disrespect my organization ever again, blah, blah, blah. The guy did all kind of apologies, and then the guy was like, get the fuck off of me or something. Get this car the fuck up off of me or something like that. And then he was like, say it nicely. He was like, get the car the fuck off of me, please. So I was cracking up. That part, like, was funny to me. But yeah, Tommy don't play when it comes to his people. So he was definitely looking out for his people, because Julio and I think Tommy getting sick of Julio. And I don't know if Julio about to come up missing or come up dead, but Tommy is getting sick of Julio. Remember that I told y'all that, because I could tell by his whole reaction to Julio. He getting sick of Julio for real. So then Tommy also visits Keyshia. Of course, Keyshia is Lala's character, and they get to talking. And she was like, you know, I want y'all to leave my business alone. He was basically like, we need you to keep washing this money. So we're not about to leave your business alone. That's not even going to happen. And I just want to know, was Lala and Carmelo Anthony separated when this TV show was filmed? Because I cannot see this married man agreeing to his wife having sex on camera, because Tommy and Lala end up hooking up on camera. You know, last season she was topless, and from what I understand, from what I've heard, Carmelo wasn't that happy about it. Then in this season, she's full on having sex on the kitchen counter. So I'm just like, were her and Carmelo separated when this was filmed? Because it just doesn't seem like any husband would agree to his wife having sex on camera. I guess it's husbands that agree to it, so maybe he did, but I don't know. I mean, I love Lala, I do. I'm a fan, but I don't know if I would want to do that knowing I have like a kid who is school age, because I think they son Cayenne is like in probably like 5th or 6th grade or something like that. Like, I don't, and this is a super popular show, so you don't know if his friends' parents or family members watch that show. Like, I don't know. That's stuff that I would think about as a mom, but hey, she's an actress, so I guess that's what she was doing. But, I did notice when, I don't know if it's about to be some drama between Keisha and Tasha, because I noticed that Keisha said that she can never have anything nice or Tasha will take it. So she doesn't want Tasha to know that Keisha and Tommy are sleeping around with each other, because she says Tasha takes everything nice that she has. She took the guy Shine, who, if you remember, the guy Shine was Ghost's driver, but he was also Kanan's son, and Kanan killed him. So, you know, that was a whole situation. But Keisha was actually sleeping with Sean before Tasha. So I guess she feel like Tasha is always trying to take whatever she has going for herself. And then he was like, Tommy was like, don't worry about it, because I don't think that she should know either. And I'm not going to let her take your hair salon. We're going to work something out. So that's going to be a budding little relationship. I think it'll be a cute little relationship. You know, they both down with the swirl or whatever. That'll be cute. That's a cute little relationship. So then Teresi, he's with his attorney. He's asking questions about Ghost and Tommy and all kinds of stuff. So, and then he tells him that, you know, I think he said that the attorney was telling Teresi that Tommy grew up in the Bronx or in Queens or something like that. So I don't know if it's going to come out that Teresi is really his father or something. You know, it's always a crazy ass spin like that. So look out for that too, because it's going to come out later on probably that Teresi has some kind of relationship with Tommy, because he was asking a lot of questions about Tommy, like, oh, his last name is Egan and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, is that his dad or something? I don't know, but it look like it's gonna get good. So then they go to the grand jury and they're presenting the case. The grand jury does decide to indict Ghost for murder 1. And so, you know, later on we find out that the DOJ actually approved Ghost getting the death penalty if he is found guilty. So he is going to be charged with murder 1, and he is eligible for the death penalty. Proctor, he gets he goes to Tommy to get the drugs for his wife, because, you know, last episode his wife was going off talking about what was she saying, something about, you know, she wanted her drugs and all this stuff, and if you take the drugs away or whatever, or you take my child away, I'm gonna tell the judge, or I'm gonna tell, the courts or whatever, that you the one who got me hooked on drugs. Maybe he did get her hooked on drugs, because now he going to Tommy for the drugs. So maybe he did get his wife hooked on drugs, because why are you going to Tommy for the drugs for your wife, for the cocaine? If you don't want her getting high in front of your daughter and stuff like that, why are you getting the drugs for her? That seems so ass backwards, but I guess whatever, dude. Okay. So then him and Tommy, Proctor and Tommy are having a conversation, besides the whole drug situation. Proctor is telling Tommy, look, you got to lay low, because the same way they watching your best friend Ghost, they also watching you. And Angela is smart enough to know that you still selling drugs. Don't get yourself caught up in anything. Tommy real pissed off, like, hold on, I've been told Ghost to leave that girl alone. Everybody told Ghost to leave Angela alone, but he didn't listen. So now Ghost is the reason why they all in the middle of some hot water, because he could not stop messing with this lady. Like, oh my God, it was so stupid. So then Tommy also tells Proctor, hey, if I get arrested, I'm going to kill you. I was like, we're going to see what happens with that, but okay. So Kanan then shows Tariq how to break into a house or whatever. And I'm just like, boy, he about to have you out here doing all kind of crazy stuff. You're going to end up in juvie messing with Kanan. I'm just like, whatever. So then Tariq asked him, because, remember, Tasha asked Tariq, was he hanging around somebody named Kanan, or did he know somebody named Kanan? So now Tariq is like, have you ever heard of somebody named Kanan? And he was like, yeah, he was part of the old crew, and he dead now. But then later he goes to see Andre, because he thinks Andre is the one who told Tariq about who Kanan is or whatever. So he goes to check Andre, like, you need to keep your mouth shut and all this stuff. And Andre like, man, I'm paying you to stay away from Tariq. How you even asking him about this stuff? And he's like, no, you not paying me to stay away from Tariq. At this point, you have no friends. You paying me to keep you alive. So Kanan then flipped the script. He think that Andre is the one who told Tariq about who he is, or who Kanan is, when truthfully it's Tasha who was asking Tariq about Kanan, but Kanan think it was Andre. So he went to check Andre. He was like choking him. I thought he was about to kill him at first, because if you kill your own son, who is anybody else? Like, you would kill anybody else. So that's a whole situation. So it's getting crazy, because Kanan not about to leave Tariq alone, and it doesn't even matter, because now Andre is gonna have to keep paying him that money just to stay alive. It's crazy, but that's why I love this show. So anyway, Proctor visits Ghost. He lets them know that they want to charge him under the RICO Kingpin statutes, and that that could be life without parole, and that basically he could get the death penalty, because they've approved the death penalty for his case or whatever, and that he's gonna get charged with murder one. And Ghost look like he's seen a ghost. But I mean, anybody in his position would probably feel the same way. So then at Tommy's house, somebody is putting a GPS tracking system on Tommy's car. Now, I'm thinking that it's probably prosecution, because they think he's still selling drugs, but Tommy's mother shows up. She gets to talking to him or whatever, and he gives her the keys to his car. So now they're tracking his car, but it doesn't matter, because it's going to be his mother's car. So they have no idea what he's up to, because he put the tracking device on his mom's car. And then everybody is starting to get the news that Ghost is going to be charged with murder one, and if found guilty, he will get the death penalty. I felt so bad for Ghost when Charlie Murphy's character, who I love seeing Charlie Murphy, so sad that he's gone, but his character is a guard, and his character is telling Ghost, like, yeah, the death penalty is so painful. They stick that needle in your arm, and people think that you just die instantly, but you don't. I seen somebody who was dying, and it took him 45 minutes to stop twitching. And I was like, damn, that's a lot of information to give somebody. But the reason why Charlie Murphy's character is being so hard on him is because they all think he a cop killer. They all think he killed this FBI agent, when really it was another FBI agent who killed the FBI agent, because Knox found out Sandoval was guilty of working with Lobos and all this stuff. But so they all think that Ghost killed this cop, and he didn't. And Charlie Murphy's character is just like not letting him breathe even a little bit. He like, it's gonna be so painful when you die and all this stuff. And I just felt bad for him, like, damn, that's kind of crazy. And then Tasha visits Angela, and she's like, he didn't do it. He not guilty. He would never kill a cop or something like that. He would never put himself in that position. And then Angela starts telling Tasha all of the evidence they have against him and all of this stuff. And then she was like, the man that Ghost saw me with in the club when Ghost and I first met up for the first time was Knox, who was my boyfriend at the time and all this stuff. Like, girl, that means nothing. That don't mean he's guilty. It doesn't mean he did anything. Like, get over yourself. I'm so sick of Angela. I cannot stand this chick. So, you know, Tasha is walking away and Angela is like, you know, for what it's worth, I wish I would have never went to that club that night. I wish I would have never met up with Ghost anymore. And Tasha was like, yeah, that makes two of us. Because, chick, you are wrecking my damn family. That's probably how Tasha feels. But can you blame her? So, yeah, and then that was about it. And then Ghost calls Tommy and asks Tommy to take care of his family. You know, take care of my family. He's tell him, like, hey, I could get the death penalty for this and all of this stuff. Everybody finding out that he was eligible for the death penalty. Everybody's reaction was just like, oh, my God. Everybody looked like they were super sad, but can you blame them? Anybody would be. It was a really sad situation. So Tommy promised, like, yeah, I'm going to look out for your family and everything. Don't worry about it. So that was the end of the episode. Now, next episode, it looked like it's going to be crazy some more. Can they just hurry up and figure out that Sandoval did it so the man can get out of prison? Because I'm so sick of watching him in jail. It's just, it kind of takes away from the show. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're going to stretch this out for as long as they can, but hopefully it's not too much longer. Well, anyway, the show was pretty good. Episode was pretty good. Let me know in the comment section what y'all was thinking, how y'all was feeling. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next week. Now it's on for me to do Real Housewives of Potomac, okay? All right. Thank you guys. Bye.